Good afternoon. Today we will be sharing our presentation on gun control.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Theodore. I'm 17 years old and a senior at PHS. My hobbies are photography, writing poetry, and doing puzzles.
My name is Yasmin Estrada. I'm 18 years old. This is my final year at Plainfield High School. My hobbies include painting, reading, and watching true crime.
My name is Laura Velasquez. I am 18 years old and a senior at Plainfield High School. I was born and raised in Plainfield, and my hobbies are painting and making jewelry.
The research question we chose was, how does gun violence impact Plainfield residents?
When we picked our research topic, we were concerned about the number of shootings that take place in Plainfield, and we wanted to learn more about it. We wanted to get the perspectives of everyone in our community to see if they felt the same way about this topic. Not only that, but we have witnessed gun violence firsthand, and we wanted to involve ourselves as well as other people from our community to make a change.
This is our research design for our project. We first picked a research topic. We then read up information on our topic. We created and distributed surveys to Plainfield students. We collected data, studied the data, shared information to create solutions.
These are the demographics of the participants that responded to our survey. The majority of the participants were either male or female from the ages 12 to 9. Our survey was intended for only Plainfield students. The ethnicity of the participants were either African American, Latinx, Asian, white, etc. And the schools that mainly responded were Maxon, Hubbard, Pause, or PHS.
Our survey included yes or no questions, which asked the participants if they knew someone who owned a gun, if they knew someone who was involved in gun violence, and if specifically in our community, did they think that everyone should be able to legally carry a firearm? And lastly, if they knew what a background check was.
These are results from our survey. Our first question, do you know someone who has a gun? 60.3% responded no, 39.7% responded yes. Our second question, do you know someone who was involved with gun violence? 68.5% responded no, and 31.5% responded yes. Oh, our third question, do you know what a background check is? 94.5% responded yes, and 6% responded no. And our last question, specifically in our community, do you think everyone should be able to legally carry a gun? 84% responded yeah, no. 15% responded yes.
We didn't only do yes or no questions, but included two open-ended questions. The first one is so we could further understand our participants' experiences with gun violence. One said their house was shot up twice, one witnessed their uncle get shot, and one had a friend that was shot, getting caught in a drug deal gone wrong. These responses stood out to us because these aren't normal things that should be happening in our community. Based on the responses, the most seen issues in our community dealing with gun violence are violence in the community, gang violence, crossfire victims, innocent lives lost, and easy accessibility to guns.
For our second open-ended question, we wanted the participants to express their strategies on ways to improve gun control. Our first participant wanted to run a background check on every person that owns a gun or wants to purchase a gun to make sure they aren't using it for the wrong reasons. Unlike our first participant, our second participant wants to have stricter gun controls but can't see a change. Based on our participants' responses, they concluded that there should be stricter gun laws, background checks for everyone purchasing and owning a gun, and the legal age restriction should be 21 years or older.
We will now present a video on how gun control impacts Plainfield residents.
Developing right now at 6. One person is dead. Two others developing right now at 6. One person is dead. Two others wounded, including a child after a shooting in New Jersey. CBS 2's Christine Sloan live at the scene in Plainfield to explain what happened. Christine?
Dana, residents shaken after shots are fired on their street in broad daylight. It happened here on the corner of West 3rd and Evona Avenue in Plainfield. 3 people shot. One person confirmed dead. One of the wounded, a 6-year-old child. Witnesses tell us the child was playing in front of her home when a car pulled up and started shooting at a man walking on the street. A father and his daughter on their front porch witnessing this violence, the father running to help the little girl.
We hear like at least 10 or 11 shots. So when I hear the second one, the third one, I just jumped over to the fence. She was crying and scared. She was shaking really bad.
This guy came in a
These are the articles that we found that broadcast the gun violence in Plainfield. In the first article, 4 people were found shot by police on the night of September 20th, 2020. Their injuries were not severe and they were transported to the nearest hospital. Shootings continued only weeks after the incident on West 3rd Street. In our second article, a man and a woman were recently shot on February 3rd, 2021. They were found by police. The woman was pronounced dead while the man was in critical condition. It is believed by prosecutors that they were not the intended targets.
Governor Murphy recently came out with a statement after announcing he was running for his second term. New Jersey has the most stringent laws in the country. However, gun crimes have increased immensely in the state over the past decade. Governor Murphy has spoken out on how New Jersey communities have been negatively affected due to the growth of gun violence throughout the years. He wants to focus on reducing gun violence by targeting the already strict laws in New Jersey as he runs for his second term. This is Governor Murphy's proposed package. Firearm alterations will be permit or firearm ID are required for firearm training. Firearms should be kept in a safe location away or have a trigger lock. To raise the minimum age for long guns and handguns from 18 to 21. Changes for gun buyers are microstamp newly manufactured guns, ban .50 caliber firearms, hold gun manufacturers accountable for harming the public, and those who move to New Jersey with legal guns must register their guns and get a firearm ID. Further proposals are improve school shooting drills to lower stress on students, set aside $10 million to fund gun violence intervention programs, and hold a gun safety conference among governors.
In conclusion, we found that 31% of the participants know someone who was involved in gun violence. 40% of the participants know someone who owns a gun in Plainfield. Most participants generally felt like there should be more strict gun laws. 94% of the participants feel like background checks should be mandatory for purchasing and owning guns. And during Governor Murphy's second term, his first priority should be to improve the gun laws to make them stricter in New Jersey.
The limitations of the survey was it was mostly answered by high schoolers and you could only access the survey with a Plainfield school email. We could have asked the question, do you think that a background check should be required to get a gun license or purchase a gun? Our yes/no questions didn't fully capture the participants' opinion, but the open-ended questions did, and the survey was only in English.
These are our action steps for our project. First, to install metal detectors in all schools. Schools should use special codes to identify the location of the shooter in the building. Doors should be locked while school is in session. Practice safety drills in the building every 3 months. schedule assembly programs with schools and youth programs to educate students about the impact of gun violence. For example, invite speakers from anti-gun organizations, victims or survivors of gun crime, and police officers. And our last action step is to start a petition for people to support Governor Murphy's gun control plan. For our reflection side, this is just our personal thoughts on gun control and how it mainly, well, our intake on it. Um, Basically, gun control for me at least was always a big problem in Plainfield. At a young age, you know, you see it way too often, and it's something that we want to change, especially for like people we like younger generations and to come. That's yeah.
I fully agree with what you said. To add on, I feel like where I live is not that bad compared to everybody else, like going through this gun violence thing. And I know that it's a thing, and I didn't really recognize that it was that bad until I did this project. And it's good to like be aware about this stuff.
For me, ever since I was younger, I would always hear that Plainfield had a bad reputation with violence and guns. And I hope that one day our community could become a place where everyone feels safe and welcomed, especially for future generations.
Thank you. Any questions you may have now are welcomed at this time.
Yes, I have a question. I think you guys did a really good job. I was actually wondering, how did this project impact your view on gun control issues?
Thank you. For gun control, we didn't really know it was like that much of a problem. But yeah, we knew it was a problem in Plainfield, but when we researched and we looked at articles and videos about it was very eye-opening to us because you don't really witness the amount of victims and people involved with gun crime.
It was pretty eye-opening to me because I've heard about gun violence before, but hearing stories about how it has affected other people really opened up my eyes to see how much of a terrible thing it is to occur.
Okay, thank you both.